For learning objective B, we're going to use the mathematical computation of slope to compare two lines to see which is more steep. Now, before we do the math computation, I want to get a visual idea. This won't answer the question, but it'll help me get a gut feel of which answer is correct. Is line 1 or line 2 more steep? So I'm going to plot the order pair 2, 3, and negative 1, 4. It's about right there. That's line 1. And then line 2 is at negative 7, negative 2. And then we're going to plot negative 4, negative 5, be about right here. It looks like to me line 2 might be more steep, but I'm not sure. The math is definitely going to have to prove it. And you always have to do the math to prove it. So let's take a look at it. For line 1, they already started the calculation. They did y2 minus y1, which is 4 minus 3. They did x2 minus x1, which is negative 1 minus 2. It's going to simplify to 1 over negative 3. Or you can move that negative sign to the top if you want. Both of these are valid answers. It doesn't matter where the negative is on the top or the bottom. Now, for line 2, I'm going to do negative 5 minus negative 2. Then negative 4 minus negative 7. It's going to be negative 5 plus 2 over negative 4 plus 7. It's going to simplify to a negative 3 over a positive 3 or negative 1. Now what you're going to do is you're going to compare the slopes. Both lines here have a negative slope, so they're both going downhill, and you can see that, and the math shows the answer is negative, the answer is negative. So what you have to do is you have to look at just the absolute value of it. So you're going to compare which is bigger. Is the absolute value of negative 1/3, just means make it positive. Is 1/3 bigger, or when you take the absolute value of negative 1, is the number 1 bigger? The number 1 is bigger, therefore line 2 is steeper than line 1. Again, you are going to have to show the slope calculation to do this problem correctly and get credit, but you can graph it to get a gut feeling of the answer. I want you to look at these right here and just notice the visual picture of the line and the slope calculation with it. These blue lines here, again, as you read them, you just go left to right like you would a book. So you travel downward, right? And you travel downward. Notice their slope calculations. They're all negative answers. So all negative slopes go down. On the other side, these red lines, as we travel upward and we read a book, all of their slopes are going to be positive. Now, look at the negatives. A negative 3 slope and a positive 3 slope. Neither one is more steep than the other. They have the same steepness. They just go in different directions. So the negative value really means nothing for how steep it is. The negative just tells you if it goes downhill versus uphill. Let's look at the last one here. Who's more steep, line 1 or line 2? And I am going to graph these just to see what they look like first. So I'm going to do line 1 in red, negative 3, 0, 1, 5. Line 2 is negative 2, negative 6, and then 4, negative 1. Again, this is going to be a tough one for me to tell, even visually, but it's just going to give me the gut feel. So let's do the math. Slope of line 1, put a little 1 there. Do 5 minus 0, 1 minus negative 3. That's 5 over 4, and I'm going to circle it. Slope of line 2, negative 1 minus negative 6, 4 minus negative 2. It's negative 1 plus 6, and 4 plus 2. That's going to be 5 over 6. Now, if you're not sure which fraction is bigger, put it in the calculator. What you would type for this is just do 5, the divided by sign, 4. If you do that, you're going to get a 1.25. For this one here, if you do 5 over 6, you're going to get 0.83. So if you look at it that way, we can tell line 1 is more steep. So my answer would be line 1.